The Morgan Report with David Morgan. Discover how to build and protect your wealth at themorganreport.com.
David Morgan of themorganreport.com for the week ending 10 January 2025. Well, I'm going to start off on a Twitter account, which is at SilverGuru22, and go over a few things for the perspective of the week, weekly perspective. First off, this is an interesting one here. It's I found it on Instagram from one of my friends about the money power. You can watch that at your leisure. This one, next one down here, is for our premium service, our paid service. I did an interview with Andreas Robles. Not real long, probably, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but it really went into depth of what's really going on in the Mexico mining situation. And there's a lot to the story, actually. Not only do we get a look from the top tier down, because he is very extremely connected in the industry from top to bottom. He's worked for many of the majors in Mexico. But he also brought to our attention the FIFOM. You can look it up. I did the video about it. But Angel Diego Gomez has got a proposal that is quite favorable to mining in Mexico. And there's some information out there about nationalization of the mines and this type of thing. It's a very interesting conversation. We reserve that for our premium service, but nonetheless, you can find most of it on your own. I just gave you the acronym FIFOM. You can look that up. I don't know if it's all in Spanish or not. Probably is. You can probably use Google Translate and get the full idea there. This is one that also a friend of mine, of course, I'm looking at this stuff constantly, as you know, but Bitcoin has fallen off here recently, but this is something that I'm not sure a lot of the Bitcoiners know about. Perhaps they do. January 1st marked the official date of the EU's MiCA regulations, and this is basically putting a bit of a nix on Tether. I suggest you go ahead and get more information. This is a start, but it may have something to do with the fall off in Bitcoin recently. Another one that's really important, this one I would say is a must for this weekend, and this is from James Anderson of SD Bullion. Others have brought it to my attention, but he does really great weekly wrap-ups. And what he does in this one, among a few other things, he points out about how bullish the silver chart looks, which is posted by Tavi Costa, is what's going on with this, what's called stock out, very tight market in the silver market, due to what's going on with the tariffs. And of course, they haven't been imposed yet, but banks and bullion banks are thinking ahead what could happen and taking action that would be on benefit for themselves. So it's really something to pay attention to. A lot of it has come up. The interview that he has here on this link that I posted on the Twitter account goes into a Bloomberg one, which I also posted earlier in the week, but I thought James Anderson did such an excellent job. And by the way, SG Bullion, certainly favorable to them. I've known James for a very long time, and before, and even the Silver Doctors, when it was the Silver Doctors website. So shout out to you, James. I posted something on platinum. I am been bullish on platinum. Did not do well last year over year. This year it's actually leading, but we're only a week into the year, so it doesn't mean hardly anything. But nonetheless, still more favorable to platinum than I am palladium. Again, scrolling further down, this is that tariff fear spark disconnect. This is an article on mining.com, kind of backs up the Bloomberg interview that James posted. And here's one that, again, all the markets are really interconnected. And as a precious metals, money metals, and mining analyst, you've really got to look at everything. And bonds are extremely important. And this is one that I didn't see anyone else post. I'm sure it's out there. But crashing Chinese bond yields signal continued strong gold demand in China. Something to keep an eye on. China, we did a big report on China in the annual forecast issue in the Morgan Report this year. And on that note, a little bit of feedback I got from one of our premium members. I'll leave his name out. Wow, David, your opening thoughts, which is our editorial, your opening thoughts in this month's newsletter is looking of the possibilities of 2025 as one of the most cogent truth-telling, say it like it is commentaries I've read in a very long time. We're starting in the month of the lion and saying that out loud is honest, real, and to the point, while also leaving room for the reality that we can and will survive, even thrive, with prudent planning and execution of our plan. Thank you. Seems so trite, yet it's the best I have to say at this moment. So quite an accolade. I usually don't read those out, but that one was pretty strong. And I do put a lot of effort into this. It is a team. It's not just me. We don't get it right 100% of the time, but certainly that's our goal. And our effort is to maximize what we bring to you so you can take that information and act on it accordingly. Another one here on the Twitter feed, I'll just stop and move somewhere else. This comes from SRS Rocket Report, Steve St. Angelo. This is, I think, a repost. Many people put this up, but showing the LBMA inventory levels. And of course, you can see they're pretty pathetically thin. Why is that? A lot of that is because it's moved. It's moved physical metal out of London because of the tariff or potential tariff situation. So there's a little bit going on behind the scenes. It's a very strange market, silver, in a way, because right now retail is pretty much dead. There's more sellbacks than there are buys, or at least it's neutral. From my information, which I deal with most of the larger dealers and the refiners, there's not a lot of interest on the retail side. However, on the investment side / bullion banking side and the wholesale side, where these wholesalers have to make a market both ways. And that means they have to buy inventory from, let's say, your local coin shop or your internet provider. And when those people sell their metal to the wholesalers, they don't usually have ready cash, and so they have to go into finance it, which means they got to borrow money. And money's at what, in the U.S., roughly round number 5%. Anyway, there's a lot behind the scenes that people don't understand how this market really works. I'm not saying I know everything, but I got a pretty good feel for it. And there's a lot in the silver side, which is the commercial bar market, that's a lot different than what's going on the retail side. And the big picture, of course, includes them both. However, the price is set in the derivatives market, which is both the COMEX and the LBMA, primarily the COMEX for the price setting mechanism. And there are issues. So we are keeping an eye on it. Are we going to see a short squeeze or not? I certainly can't say that we will at this point in time, but I will say that things are interesting. Going to the website right now, we've made it very simple to put up the free letter, which is over here. These come out about 3-4 times a week, and it doesn't cost you anything. You can unsubscribe at any time. I also want to bring your attention to the quick icons up here at the top, right before the members log in, or right above it, rather. Here's one for the YouTube channel. And of course, we post most of these interviews on this channel. And as I've said in the past, there are things here for everybody, of course, but the community button right here is very important. And I just want to bring that to everyone's attention again this week, because if you press that, I just posted this. In fact, I'm actually not done listening to it. I'm about 80% through. This is from Katherine Austin Fitz and Professor Richard A. Warner, who's someone I'd love to meet. I've watched a lot of his stuff on Renegade Economist, the gentleman that made the Four Horsemen film. He gets tons of very interesting people. Regardless of that, as I digress, this is about state banks. And this is something that is very important. There's one in North Dakota. They go through it, what it means, why we should start them. Katherine's talked about this in the past. In fact, in her Solari report, she has written a whole bunch about it, and something that needs to be revisited. And this one is one that I think this was once on Steve's paid service, but he did put it up for free. I reposted it here on the community, and looking at the Bitcoin versus gold energy consumed, it's rather startling if you just take a look at that. Last one I'm going to talk about here is about MicroStrategy and doing the math on what you're really getting if you buy a share in MicroStrategy versus just buying Bitcoin outright. Anyone that's interested in Bitcoin probably should have, or thinking about buying MicroStrategies as a way to get an investment in Bitcoin. It will be worth your time to watch this video before you made that decision. I will be on the Caravan to Midnight tonight. This is Saturday the 11th, and I'm in the last half hour, I believe, of the show. You can call in. There are open lines, and the phone number's there, 877-956-9566. I'm not sure exactly what John will be asking, but I did send him. He asked for a couple talking points. I sent him the editorial from the Morgan Report January issue, which is, less than 10 days old. We published last Saturday. So regardless, if you're interested, I will be on Caravan to Midnight tonight. And I just did a lot this week. We interviewed an upstart mining company in south of us. I'll put it in those terms. Quite interesting, high grade, not diluted, cash in the bank. Management owns a great deal of the stock. Institutions of merit have it. And it's a new one. I doubt, in fact, I asked straight out, no one else knows about it in my industry at this point in time. High risk, high reward. I'm going to do some more due diligence. That was one of several things this week. Anyway, whether you're seasoned or just starting out, our reports is one of the keys to staying ahead in the metals and mining markets. And you can discover opportunities in the ever-changing world of money and investments due to our team and the work we've done and the contacts we have. So you might consider more than the free newsletter. That's up to you. But if you go to themorganreport.com and hit the subscribe button, you will get all the details. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. I wish you all the best this weekend and always. And that is the end of this week's Weekly Perspective.